Welcome back to the Brew Crew Podcast, everyone. This is episode 243, if you're keeping track. You know, I say that every episode, what episode number it is, but I mean, we put it in the title. We say it, but you know what? I like knowing.
More for me, though. I'm so anal organized. Like when I post it, it's got to be like the same format or whatever. And you did it like hundreds of episodes ago. Like you made the default YouTube format.
I knew we were gonna hit 1,000, so I went 4 digits. Now, if we hit 10,000, we're fucked.
But I'm really into this new comedian that I haven't. I just discovered him, but he's been on the scene for a long time, and he's in the 200s in his podcast, or whenever he did it was recording it. But I have no idea in space and time where they are.
Oh, I hate that.
Because they're not dated.
We don't do that either in our titles, but they are dated.
Yes,
that we upload them.
They're dated, but his are like uploaded too. But so I have to rip them from YouTube. Yeah.
Now this is a great. I'm glad you. So who's the comedian first?
Earl Skankel.
Never heard of him.
He's amazing.
Earl Skankel.
He's a huge wrestling. He's a huge wrestling fan, and he's deadpan and very sardonic or whatever.
Earl Skankel.
He is. And again, I just discovered it right before they turned it off. They did the Comedy Store, the famous.
Yeah. Rogan talks about it all the time.
Yeah, they had a podcast studios there up until 2 weeks ago.
No shit.
Yeah, and one of the shows that they did was Comedy Store Wrestling, where they would actually review AEW and WWE.
Wow. Okay.
And it was awesome, and he was one of the comedians on there. And I started listening to him. It was a must listen for me for 3 weeks, and then they started they were sneaking in like, oh, well, should we tell them about the big change or whatever? And Earl's like, fuck it. This place sucks. They're getting rid of the podcast studio or whatever. So it was just, again, his approach. I wish I could find more. He's probably going to be the first guy that I subscribe to his Patreon.
Wow.
It's just,
I still have yet to get to that
wavelength.
Point. I've yet to get to that point. I thought I was almost there with one podcast, but I just not anymore.
Like he's a deep 80s wrestling. Like Kamala is his favorite wrestler. Like that's a bold choice.
That's a crazy favorite.
Yeah. Oh, but his knowledge, and then also his knowledge of 80 and 90s hair metal bands.
It's really deep.
It's amazing.
That Kamala thing that goes back to my. Someone had asked me this, and I had been. It's just such a profound question that I've never forgot it. It was, do you think every band is someone's favorite band? And of course, excluding moms and girlfriends and wives and stuff.
Yeah.
Or husbands, if girl bands or gay bands or whatever. Spouses, I'll say. And I think no. But then you say things like that, that's someone's favorite wrestler. Mm-hmm. So that makes me think okay, everyone who's ever had a contract, and been, maybe a Raw or SmackDown wrestler, at least to that level, is every wrestler someone's favorite wrestler? I'd say no, probably not. But then you get weird shit like that just comes out of nowhere, and someone maybe follows Damien Sandow through house shows and is this is my favorite wrestler, and I'm just
good example.
Midgard guy, not really pay-per-view guy. And I think you should leave, by the way. He's in one of the skits. That's why he's top of mind.
But I don't think Bastion Booger was anyone's, or the Gobbledygooker, or the Goon.
You don't know that.
Outside of, it's one of those you can conjecture or exploit conjecture on it.
Having watched Doink the Clown,
Dark Side of the
Dark Side, I think that there's some guys who make it and then they never really, they just don't find that following again. Well, I think he was an appearance guy, right?
Yeah.
Whereas there's some guys who follow a trajectory, a storyline, even off TV.
Yeah.
Same thing with bands. I think every band might be someone's favorite band, which is crazy to think about because only signed bands.
Yeah.
Because if you make it, when I was in a band, we weren't signed, but we played enough shows to where there were people who were repeat ticket buyers for this shitty band, this shitty punk band. I think eventually we could have got to the point, even if we only had 100 true fans, at least one of them would say we're their favorite band. When
you get around to the intro video, will Accident Prone be the music for it again? Before, we always had that music play in for the first part of the podcast,
which is great trivia.
I still have that sticker up in my office at work.
Oh, that's awesome.
I have 2 outside family things up. outside family, military, whatever, and it's a poster of the Watchman and the accident prone sticker.
That's so awesome.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, just
I get questions about it once or twice a year because it's just that small rectangle.
It's a long, almost bumper sticker.
Everyone makes eye contact with the Watchman poster, though.
Yeah. So that was a cool entryway. Now you mentioned time stamping, so I'm not gonna renew the Podbean because I just don't see the value we're getting from it. So I actually canceled that this morning, and I'm transitioning everything to Spotify.
Yeah. Because people ask me if I'm on if we're on. I always tell people we're on YouTube.
We're on Spotify.
Yeah.
We've been on Spotify since almost the very beginning, and we're on iTunes. Now we won't be on iTunes, audio wise, because I'm not going to pay for the RSS because there's just no value there. What we're doing instead,
we're not getting enough rub on it. Is what you're saying?
Exactly. Yeah. Like the reason why you would have the that podcast service is because they'll place the ads. They'll tailor them to your topics and stuff. Well, we don't have ads.
And we're
not big enough to even have ads.
We were really excited at that growth when we did switch because Podbean wasn't with us from the start. Mm-hmm. We switched, I think, episode 100 when we switched the name and everything. Yes. Which again, consistently, I have people in my life that suck that bring up like, oh, tell them what the podcast name used to be.
Yeah.
That's almost 200 episodes ago now. Yeah. 143 to be exact.
Episodes ago.
Years ago.
Yeah, years ago. I mean, years.
But just to do it to slight. And I just, I try not to take it too much because I'm that asshole in other people's lives. So I'm like, this is just karma.
Well, we picked up our momentum with that name and we kept it going without that name. So regardless, so what I'm doing, Spotify's service includes video.
Yeah.
And they'll let you listen. You can lock your phone, the screen's off, and it won't shut off. Because, you watch YouTube on your phone, you lock it, it shuts off the whole thing.
That's why I have to use Pandora when I mow the lawn.
Oh.
Because the phone screen turns off.
You can use Spotify.
Pandora keeps playing. My wife uses Spotify. I guess Pandora. I've never once used Spotify.
Here's the thing.
I use SoundCloud
as someone
sometimes.
who is a data, machine learning person.
Yeah.
Spotify's algorithm is hands down the best.
Yeah, so
at finding music that is similar. So Pandora, that's like what their whole thing is. We find we make radio stations, but it's not as good as Spotify. Now, I don't even subscribe to Spotify. I have the Apple Music.
Are you a Spotify shill?
No, that's the weird thing here is. But I will admit that their algorithm is the best. So anyway, going back. So I'm loading. My current line of thinking is 101 and above.
Yeah. Because
I don't think... Even we have videos from like 80, 85 on. But then I started watching episode 101 this afternoon. And, it's not the same. So I'm curious. So one, you won't know where we are in time. The mole people will just have to look back and either look at the YouTube date timestamp or just be like, whatever. But I'm thinking, should I load from... And this is not a slight to Cobra, but it's just a different podcast. Should I start where it was just the two of us and Will Smith? Or should I go back to 101 where I don't like the... I don't want to start with the Century Club being the first episode in Spotify. I'd rather they start with 101 if that's where we go. Or I go to where it was just us.
Interesting. So those are the most two logical cutoff
starting points, yeah.
Instead of loading the whole catalog?
We could start at episode 1, but that's audio to about 85. And then we could go audio and video starting there. This
is trivia. When was the first video one where we started doing dual?
I think it was 85.
Really? Mm-hmm. I would have been off by 100. I would have said
101 we did the Century Club.
Yeah, I remember that one. That one.
Or 100 we did the Century Club.
I think that one has like close to 1,000 views.
Oh wow, that's really good.
I think it does. It's interesting our back catalog.
So I've loaded 101, but then I started thinking maybe I shouldn't because of how different it is. Like, do we want... Maybe chime in on social media or in the YouTube comments. Do we want the people who aren't Chuggalos yet to have their first experience, if they're Spotify users, be, the OG or start where we are now?
Yeah, because
How do I
see what you're saying because it's kind of disingenuous. Like, what if they fall in love with that?
What if they love that
format? Yeah. And then we're like, oh shit, I'm out of that format.
And then all of a sudden we change, and they're like, oh, it hasn't been the same since it changed.
Yeah.
Whereas they could just fall in love.
That is accurate. It hasn't been the same since it changed.
That's right.
It hasn't been the same since last week.
But that's not always true. I'm always the same no matter how many times I change my clothes.
Right.
I'm the same guy.
I'm constantly evolving into a bigger and greater asshole. I do have a bit of
chime in.
I do have a bit of piece of beer news that was tipped off. Busch Light Watermelon. That was only a NASCAR sponsorship. It's
Son
not.
of a bitch.
Yeah, it's not watermelon. My pencil's making noise. It's not watermelon next year, guaranteed. It was just a sponsorship.
Now there is a new Busch Light out today, I think.
Yeah, pumpkin spice.
Pumpkin spice
for dogs.
For dogs, which I want to get for my dogs. So the dog Busch Light is marrow soup or something. I'm not sure how that works.
Yeah, marrow soup.
Marrow. I don't know how
like
that
Mark
works.
Marrow.
Yeah, Mark Marrow soup.
Yeah, the wild man.
I don't know if it's like what happens when bone marrow is heated. Does it melt into a liquid?
Yeah, like you get like marrow butter. So then it like greasifies.
I'm not a marrow expert. I don't know. Really, I don't know any. I'm novice when it comes to marrow.
You don't like a fine dining restaurant crack open like get the marrow butter. Like people will get half the femur and it's a delicacy.
I know. I believe Chuggalos mom has donated marrow, which is supposed to be extremely painful.
Yeah, because it's not a lumbar. They go to your hip typically.
Is that true, Mom?
The iliac crest of your hip, I think.
Did I get that right? I know she donates blood a lot, which I haven't been able to do. I actually could start donating blood again, but you have to be 12 months from a tattoo, which has almost not been true for the past 10 years.
For your entire life?
Recently, yeah. I'm more than a year out. Maybe I'll go get more tattoos instead of donating blood.
I would gladly donate blood if they could find a way to do it without needles.
Oh, you don't like needles?
I
think we've talked about this, but I feel like more astounding today than it would have been previously.
I don't like them. I don't like the sight of my own blood. Other people's, whatever. It gets.
You went through the combat medics training?
Oh yeah.
Where you have to do it to other people and they have to do it to you?
Yeah. Are you saying the
IV?
No, not that. We've done tourniquet training and stuff.
Oh, I've done tourniquet.
Yeah. We have to do that that's an annual requirement for us.
Okay. Well, the combat medic school I went through required everyone to learn how to do an IV and tourniquet and stuff.
Yeah, no.
But you have to do an IV, saline drip, to one of your, in my case, shipmates, and they have to do one to you. And it's really horrifying.
Yep, no thank you.
You know there's always that one guy in class and everyone's like, I'm not pairing with that guy.
I am fucked in a sea burning situation if I have to give myself atropine. I will blast my thumb off. I will do it the wrong way.
Oh yeah. That's okay. It still goes in your bloodstream.
I'll be like, you know what? I'm done. Yeah,
I think
then it
you
takes
can
your
still do it.
thumb off. Yeah, somebody else is gonna have to knock me out with the butt of a gun and just stick it in my ass. That would be
That's what you said.
Be an episode title, but I think YouTube.
Yeah, I don't think
YouTube
you could do that.
Would spot that one.
We can get started. We got plenty more to talk about, but if you want to get started on beers.
Yeah.
My only news was the dog beer, but
and then I was tipped off because I was talking about beers. I was trying to turn people on to the podcast, and we were talking about one guy was a Busch Light drinker, so we had a lot to talk about at a company function. All right, so our first beer is there's a theme for today. But our first beer is from Lock 27 here in Dayton.
Damn, this is the second time I've heard. Never got.
And I'm going to have some hot takes on this. I've been sitting on this one for a while. This one was bought, vacations, being away, all of that stuff. So I've been sitting on it for a while. I bequeathed one to a buddy this week, and I said, don't you dare tell me how it is. This is Bill's Donut Shop Blueberry Blonde, 5.4%. Lager, I'm all over the place. Lock 27, Bill's Donut Shop, Blueberry Blonde, 5.7%. Go with the crack, not primed. 3, 2, 1. You can find out more about them at lock27brewing.com. And my first hot take is they say all over their website that they're downtown Dayton's favorite.
They say that, huh?
They say that on the...
Downtown Dayton's favorite.
Yeah.
They're one of their locations is right next to the Dragon Stadium. Mm-hmm. I know that to be true because I tried to go in one time, and it was too crowded.
Yes, their proximity is there. They started off in Centerville in 2012. I didn't know that.
Downtown Dayton.
Small barrel system, and then they moved into the Dayton area. I would argue that they're downtown Dayton's most forgotten about brewery.
Yeah, maybe. Who do you think's downtown Dayton's favorite?
I'm going to give it to Warped Wing.
Probably.
Then DBC. Mm-hmm. Then, I mean, where does downtown Dayton stop?
Yeah, good question. I guess.
Like, would you consider Branch and Bone?
Yeah.
So Branch and Bone is downtown. Then
I would say that's probably
3.
Dayton's favorite brewery. Even if it doesn't have the numbers, like if this isn't a democracy, it's not about votes. I would say that the most passion is behind Branch and Bone as far as Dayton breweries. Now, the most popular breweries for sure, Warped Wing.
I will agree with you on that. Even though we're not categorizing it appropriately, I would say that it's the favorite, not by volume, but by like fervent fan base. Now, both Warped Wing and Branch and Bone have their releases where they'll have lines around the building. I don't know any other brewery out of the aforementioned that have that situation. But again, so I think we've proven beyond a shadow of a doubt in these two podcasters' opinion that Lock 27 is not the favorite.
It's probably
downtown
not the
Dayton's
favorite downtown Dayton.
So that is an empty claim. So anyways, the one thing I like about their website, and this is a hallmark for all websites, on theirs they have the beer, but they also have a beer calendar when their beers are available. Please,
that's nice.
For the love of God, more breweries adopt that. Because if you have a seasonal brew and you want to stock up on it so you have your fixed for the rest of the year, have that calendar. Some of the best infographics that I've seen, even on our network that we used to both work on or elsewhere, are the calendars that like Rogue puts out or whatever. And it's an infographic on laid over a calendar, creative, pretty colors when their beers are available.
Here's the thing about breweries and websites. People often, we've talked about the idea that maybe websites don't get visited.
Yeah.
And that's probably true. But technology is a key element to your success. And I live and die by my calendar. I know that when I used to work in the same building as you, I never used my calendar. Because why? Everything happens inside the building. But now, like everything, my calendar dictates everything about my week. If you have a release calendar like that, create the iCal file. It's an RSS feed that you can download, put on your phone, and it will literally alert me when your beers become available. And I don't have to keep downloading it. It just updates as you update it. You should use that technology. Because if I was just looking through my meetings for the day and I saw, oh shit, there's a new beer today, I might make it a point to go to Lock 27.
Anyone that's ever seen me out at work or in a professional environment always knows that I have my calendar I'm very analog. I only write in it using pencil. It goes with me everywhere. It zips up. It's camouflage, but I've had that ever since 2017, and it's been on my hip. Around the world with me many times. You're good at that. Like I'm terrible at it. My life is in that. I wish I could be more digital. I like being a geek, but I'm very analog when it comes to certain things. It's like
it makes sense for you.
I like having separate devices too. Everyone uses their phone for everything. I'm getting better. I just downloaded my first food apps last week.
Food app?
Yeah, like Taco Bell and Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah. I've been trying to not do that as well, but it's just too damn convenient.
I see the benefits that everyone else getting free food and stuff like that.
Well, you get free food, and I hate sitting in the drive-thru waiting for people to tell me what they want.
Yeah.
You can put in your order at home, drive to the drive-thru, and say, "I'm John picking up," and they'll start making it right there. You don't have to order anything; it's already ordered.
Yeah, it limits that. It's amazing. So I've used the one so far to pick up Donuts. This is that segue.
Donuts,
and coffee for the missus last Friday when I was off. So, anyways, before they went to work.
Donuts. Good segue.
Good segue. Blueberry donuts. A donut is a donut is a donut is a donut.
Not true.
Okay, that's my hot take. Bill's Donuts is a Dayton institution, and everyone will say that by volume and by favorite, there's going to be little mom and pop shops that compete, but Bill's Donuts is open 24/7. There's always a line. It's in Centerville. It's a ways from here, but Bill's Donuts are currency in the building that we used to work in. But of donuts, a blueberry cake donut is by far my favorite donut.
Oh yeah, so when you say donuts, a donut, that's where. So what you're contradicting yourself, because cake donuts are different than regular donuts, and regular donuts are different than like the what is that?
Like really a fritter or an eclair.
What's that really famous donut place with the glaze?
Krispy Kreme.
Krispy Kreme. That's an atypical donut.
That's a yeast donut.
That's a yeast donut.
You gotta know your terminology, JT.
I don't know. But I have a lot of donut content, and this is totally. I did not know this beer was coming, but we have bi-weekly team meetings at my company, and every time they ask like just a fun question, everyone answers. So today's was, what's your favorite type of pastry?
Yeah.
Well, someone had said some Bill's donut.
Yeah.
No kidding. And then it went into a conversation of all this donut related trivia that I'm going to drop on you.
Yeah, so they Bill's Donut does cake and yeast donuts. They do both.
Now, the Krispy Kreme is not that typical. That's different. Because they actually put glaze in the batter.
Yes.
That's what makes theirs different. Then you have the yeast donuts, which are like, they have more airy.
Yeah.
And then the cake donuts, which are my favorite as well.
The dense.
Very dense, very heavy. I like the chocolate cake donuts.
I'm
blueberry's good.
And I think blueberry is a not even a top tier. It's not even an S tier fruit.
Not an S tier fruit. Yeah, I'm talking.
When it comes to like the fruit juices I keep in my house, blueberry is the least one that I go after. You know, between cherry, clementine, all that stuff.
And we all know that when
Cranberry.
Matt says it about fruit juices, it's fact.
Yeah, so
we can't.
It's not my favorite.
Can't dispute it.
But this, as far as attributing Bill's Donut to my favorite Bill's Donut, and again, not as a donut connoisseur, but if I'm going to have a donut, this is the one I search after. Otherwise, 9 times out of 10, I'm not having a donut. If there's not a blueberry donut in that box, it's a pass for me. It's just empty carbs that I don't need. But a blueberry donut, I'm in for. This is fantastic.
Yeah, this is a good beer. I'll show the can, but I still have so much to say about it. Let's get it back. There you go. Bill's Donut Shop. Read that if you want.
Yeah, you just can go to their website and listen to all their other ridiculous claims. You know, they probably have the Cure for Cancer beer too. You know,
probably.
Being downtown Dayton's favorite. I say that tongue in cheek.
Maybe they do. What if they did?
I would buy it all.
Yeah, who wouldn't? So Bill, I think Bill's Donuts, it has.
I didn't know they were around for 11 years. That was shocking to me. They predate a lot of the.
Wait, what do you mean they were around for 11 years?
They started in 2012.
What?
Yeah.
I thought they were around from like 1985.
Nope.
Holy shit!
That's a nice foreshadow for the second beer that we're gonna have today.
It's a 38-year-old beer. Bill's Donuts is a perfect example of what I have just coined right now as warped wing effect. The warped wing effect.
Okay.
Like the Mandela effect, but different. The warped wing effect is the pressure of your local institutions and their popularity.
I was going to say this is institutionalitis.
Yes, institutionalitis.
Yeah.
Or
I knew where you were going with it.
It's just everyone says it's the best, so it's the best. Period. Bill's Donuts is great. There's no denying its greatness. However, Stan the Man's is great, and there are like you said, there are mom and pops that are also great. The vitriol against anything not Bill's is fucking ridiculous.
See, again, there's a lot of places, and that's why I always say there's a lot of places, but it's they've just got the best marketing team. So then you pay for the marketing.
It's because Centerville is a place where people can go. Like, so Stand the Man's in Dayton. People don't go to Dayton. That's the weird thing about our Air Force Base. Like, no one goes through Dayton to get there. But Centerville, a lot of people have to go through Centerville. So it makes sense to go to Bill's. And so Bill's has the biggest following. But you can get the same type of donuts, the same cake deliciousness, glaze, the fillings, everything at Stand the Man. And
are they open
24/7
though?
They're related. I don't know if they're open.
Yeah, see, that's
I don't know. Well, have you ever gone to Bill's at night?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you have? Okay, I haven't.
You got to keep. My first job in the building was overnight, and people would go on Bill's runs.
Anyway, maybe Stan's is open tomorrow. I don't know. But they're related to Stan and Bill. And apparently Bill has other family members across the country that have started donut shops. This is like a crazy thing.
I mean, if you're going to do, look at the Waltons with Walmart.
So it's fine. Bill's is good. It is an excellent donut shop. Now, do you know why donuts are called donuts?
No.
They used to be called, I think they used to be called oily snacks or something like that. But it's because when you throw the dough into the deep fryer,
yeah,
originally they would come out as like they looked like deformed walnuts and pecans, and not pecans, but nuts. So it was a dough nut. That's why they started calling it that. And that's about all the trivia I have for you today.
Great. Why?
Some people want to know why donuts are called donuts. Why
I thought you had more.
Because are there nuts in donuts? Not typically. Sometimes there are.
On top of them.
Yeah, on top. It's because they used to look like nuts. And you throw them in your mouth.
My history with donuts, we used to have this place called the Donut Hole that was just down the street from my best friend's house, and you could get a bag of day-old donuts for $1.50.
Yeah.
I think I've told that before, but like they just shoved them in there like 10 or... And when you're a kid and you're not worried about your metabolism or whatever, so like each of you would get your own bag and like trade.
That would be my next conversation, would be about people not eating donuts.
Because back then my favorites were definitely the Bismarcks or the custard-filled Long Johns. Yeah, for sure. Because it was a quantity
custard-filled Long John sounds awesome. Custard is a good filling.
Are you willing to make that stance?
I'm taking that stance. Yeah. Custard's a good filling.
I feel
like, people, if someone's bringing donuts every day, that's gluttonous. Don't do that. But like, live your life every once in a while. If you're in the middle of like you've been on a diet and you're doing great and this is the best you've done and you're okay, fine, I understand that. Yep. But like, people bring Bill's Donuts or Stan's Donuts or whatever, and just don't. If you're not gonna have one, don't fucking say you're not gonna have one. Like, who cares?
Yeah, don't be guilting other people.
Oh, I can't eat that. Oh, I'll have just a little tiny.
Oh yeah, that's the Midwestern.
Wedge of one.
That's the Midwestern passive aggressive in people is like they'll cut shit in half, no, and then that's the last thing to go.
Then you die, and you have your
you cut the donut in half and then you die.
I'm just saying, hypothetically, you die.
An autobiography.
Hypothetically, you die, and you're standing at the gates of heaven, and you're waiting on the updated list to come through to Peter, and he's like, just some small talk. He's like, hey, did you enjoy your life? Yeah, I enjoyed my life. Did you enjoy? You're getting the sound effects ready. Did you enjoy all of the great foods that God has placed on, if you're religious, on the world? And you're like, well, no, I ate salad and leaves most of the time. But you had an opportunity to eat this great donut. Just one donut. Don't go crazy. No, I was worried about my whatever.
And then you know what happens?
Regret, man.
Yeah. Straight to hell.
Straight to hell. You got to eat those donuts. People don't pass up treat yourself every once in a while is all I'm saying. All right, this is Camp Owner segment brought to you by Chuggalos Stev. Thanks, Stev. I hear that's about to change.
That's going to change. Stev's streak of forever. The entire summer.
All right, this can is great, although the donut on here looks like a bagel, a sesame seed or everything style bagel, which is another great breakfast. There's some silhouette blueberries.
Favorite bagel? What's your favorite bagel? You can't.
Everything bagel for sure.
Everything. What spread?
Regular cream cheese. Plain cream cheese.
Onion and chive would have been acceptable.
Plain cream cheese is great.
Everything bagel is good.
Everything bagel is amazing. And I'm so sick of these. What's the main bagel company?
Lenders.
Is it Lenders? Yeah, I don't know. They don't have enough seasoning on it, but the Pepperidge Farm ones, they have tons of everything. And you can go to Trader Joe's and get everything seasoning and just supplement it.
Yeah, they sell everything seasoning, right? In shakers, yeah.
So sometimes I'll supplement the everything with more everything.
All right, back to your scores.
Back to my scores. I love the can. I like the white label. I think white labels stick out really well because the only other beers with white labels are like Miller Lite, and they're in boxes on the floor. So it's a good design choice to use labels that stick out. Black labels you don't see them, and most beer places seem to be dark. It's weird.
Bill's Donut Box is also white too.
Most donut boxes, except Dunkin' Donuts, are white. This beer is really good. The blueberry really sticks out. I don't think that there's a donut flavor per se, but there's a sweetness, a sugariness about this beer that I think is the donut, but it still has a beer flavor to it. It's on the tongue, it's on the back of the tongue, it's in the breath. So this beer has a beer flavor, which is great because you get a blueberry donut and sometimes it's just like all lactose and blueberry. This has just a little of everything, and it's kind of perfect in its delivery. Is it a perfect 5? No, I don't think it's a 5 because a 5 would be like me racing to go get more. I'm glad I had this beer, and I would have it again, and I would buy this beer. But will I purposely go out and buy it? No, for that, I think this beer on execution alone is a 4.75. And flavor. But it doesn't get me to the store.
It's interesting.
Because it's a blonde, really.
Yeah. Blondes have all the fun. Off the top rope, I agree with JT in score, 4.75. This beer is well executed. You just want it turned up to 11. I mean, and really, that's the only thing that this is missing. Everything is subtle. My father-in-law absolutely loves Bill's Donuts. And he's a Miller Lite drinker. I'm wondering, and this is my question for you, do you think that this is a bridge too far? Do you think that he would... Because it's subtle.
It's perfect.
It's not punchy.
And I think for someone who already is indoctrinated into Bill's Donuts, it gives that little bit more.
Yeah. This is
novelty.
Easy, crushable drink that creates conversation. You show up to a party with this and you're drinking Bill's Donut, especially in this area. You take it across the country or something like that. But as far as like local and Lock 27's distribution, as far as I'm aware, is pretty much to the local area. I don't think I've seen them outside of the state in my travels.
Not outside the state.
But again, off the top rope, 4.75, just on how they went for an iconic place, an iconic, in my opinion, my small opinion, and they landed. They landed ever gracefully. 4.75. So
excellent.
Beer number 2. JT said so many things. Look at this, JT. Look at what color can is this?
Wow, it's a white. It's gray. White, gray.
Okay, so this is Rhindelander Brewing, bequeathed to us from Chuggalos. Rhindelander is from the part of Wisconsin that no one ever thinks about. It's the northeastern part of the state, and this is good ass beer. So this is a light American lager coming in at 4.2%. So we're really stepping it back compared to our recent run of things. And again, Rhinelander, Wisconsin. This is canned, though. If you look it up in Monroe, Wisconsin, we know Monroe, Wisconsin is New Glarus is down that way, but Monroe has a bunch of brewing facilities, again, just south of Madison, that take care of other facilities. So we'll go with the crack. I see JT getting on it. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Oh, that was perfect.
2 not primed beers today.
The best part is the story with this beer. Okay, so if you find out, you want to go find out more, go to RhinelanderBrewing.com. Why is Rhinelander important in the whole scheme of things, JT?
Well, Rhine is a river in Germany, right?
You got it.
And the Rhinelander would be an oxymoron.
A person from the river region.
A person that landers around the river.
Can you tell me the mascot? Rhinelander only has one high school. What the mascot is?
Rhinelander.
It's the only. I'll give you a hint. It's the
Rhinelander.
They're the only one in the country to have this.
I need to back up just a sec. Yeah. Like Monroe or
Rhinelander.
Rhinelander, the brewery.
Yeah, Rhinelander is from Rhinelander, Wisconsin.
Oh, but I thought it was Monroe.
Again, they canned it in another facility just due to the small size of the facility.
Okay.
But Rhinelander Brewing is out of
mascot,
Rhinelander, Wisconsin. Yeah, what's their mascot? Your hint is they're the only one in the country that has this mascot.
Oh, shit.
So go.
It's the only one in the country? I mean, it's got to be like...
They were also...
I mean...
Here's another hint. They are also named the best high school mascot 3 years in a row. Countrywide.
There's almost no...
You know it.
Even if I was to joke and say a sock, it's not true because there's socks, white socks, red socks, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm going to say a toilet.
All right. They are the Hodags. Do you know what a Hodag is? A Hodag is a mythical Sasquatch dragon-esque cryptoid type creature.
Sasquatch dragon cryptoid.
It's a mythical...
Like a dead...
It's like like I said, like a
hairy
cryptoid.
Dragon. I don't know what a cryptoid is. I'm guessing like a
cryptozoology.
I'm guessing like a gangster.
Like Yetis are cryptoids.
Bandanas. Is blue crypts? I don't know.
Hodag.
Red.
So everything in this town surrounds like they have the Hodag Music Festival. See, there is what is a Hodag, but that's a Hodag.
It's a Hodag. Oh, it looks challenged.
It looks challenged. So check out Hodag is Hodag.
That's the best mascot? There's got to be better mascots.
No, that's the best mascot 3 years running. So anyways, when did Rhinelander Brewing start? And again, you can find out more of this at rhinelanderbrewing.com. Go the complete opposite of yesterday.
1985.
1892.
Holy shit, 1892.
Yeah. 1892. And
400 years the anniversary of Columbus's discovery of the Caribbean.
I mean... I think they started on purpose. It's now owned by a Canadian. She was a food scientist. She moved from Canada. She fell in love with brewing, and she does like everything. She's like, go for it. Again, it's a much smaller facility. That's why it was brewed in Canada in another facility, but it's from Rhinelander, Wisconsin. Rhinelander, Wisconsin is just a couple thousand people. So anyways, Craigo was back in the Wisconsin area visiting friends, and... they had this beer. They didn't have Miller Lite, Busch Light, Bud Light, anything like that. So they had this, and he got turned on to it. He's like, I'm wondering if Matt has had it, so he brought it back.
Was he right?
I've not had it, no.
Excellent.
Rhinelander beer I've had quite a bit of because they bottle shorties, which are 8-ounce pours in bottles. Think of like a Mickey's Big Mouth. That's the size of a bottle, and you buy them in like the little old-fashioned bottle cases. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing better than like an 8-ounce pour of a beer.
I disagree.
Like, it's hilarious. It's a fun gimmick.
How about a 4-ounce pour? You're so anti 4-ounce pours. But 8 ounce.
Too small. Okay. Yeah, but it's
too small.
You've had a Mickey's Grenade, right?
Too small.
You've had a Mickey's Grenade, right? Doesn't that feel satisfying?
I've not had a Mickey's Grenade.
I'm gonna buy.
Though Stev does know what I'm talking about when I say too small.
Mickey's. Wow, that seems like an attack on Stev.
No. It's I think you should leave. It's I promise you. I encourage our listeners to only listen to and watch the Brew Crew podcast. But if you have a little extra time, watch I Think You Should Leave because it's amazing.
Now for sponsors that aren't paying us.
They are paying us, actually.
Okay. So,
in laughs.
Rhinelander, again, small brewery, they're working on exporting to different countries. I'll give you 3 guesses. If you can name any of the 4 countries that they're available in, a prize.
Based on the flavor of this beer, they should only export this beer to the Democratic Republic of Congo.
That's not one of them.
Belarus.
That is not one. Wrong continents.
Maybe. Tibet.
Nope.
And
Tibet's not a country.
No, it's not. But it's a place
autonomous
you
region.
could go. You can export to. And I'd say probably somewhere around the let's go with Panama.
Brazil,
I was getting
Barbados.
close. I almost said Brazil.
Brazil, Barbados, Curacao, and Antigua.
Yeah.
So
Is
that
Antigua a country?
it's a place
so.
you can export to use
it. I like where we're going with this. Yes, Antigua. I think it might.
So I mean,
it's a territory at least.
It's obvious that they're after the money going to those places.
Right.
So
well, this beer needs to go somewhere.
It's interesting that they're exporting to those places, but you can't get Rhinelander out of a small. I think they're the opposite of Spotted Cow. I don't think you could get Rhinelander out of the state, but not by choice, but by demand. So like everyone, craft beer geeks on Facebook, be in that group, especially if you enjoy this. They every time somebody cracks a Spotted Cow in South Carolina, it's I'm having a Spotted Cow or a New Glarus beer, and 47 people are like, my Uncle Fred knows a guy.
I used to have really strong opinions on my distaste
but you know what I'm saying.
For New Glarus, not exporting.
Yeah.
Since buying, maybe my mom. Somebody went to Wisconsin.
Since buying your mom.
I have several thoughts going at the same time. Since somebody bought me a 24 case of New Glarus Spotted Cow standard, not the rhubarb, which is amazing. And since having it and struggling to continue having it, I realized that's very smart for them to not leave Wisconsin. I thought, like,
my wife's favorite.
Gotta leave Wisconsin. Why are they depriving us all of this beer? Like this Wisconsin, like elitism.
Oh, yeah.
It bothers me because no one else thinks Wisconsin is, except for Wisconsin people, think that Wisconsin has this like exclusive elitism. But then I had the Spotted Cow standard again for the first time in a while. And I have a 24 case, and I probably have 22 still in the fridge.
And the interesting thing about the Wisconsin elitism, Chicago supports Wisconsin by treating us as their vacation land and their dump off, where Wisconsinites bitch about every time that they have to go through Chicago.
But they go and love it because Chicago's awesome.
We have to drive through.
But
it's like son of a bitch.
Like I just liked a photo of someone very close to the first base side dugout at Wrigley Field. Chicago's putting all things aside, like rivalry-wise.
Both of their families are steeped in Chicago. They just happen to. One generation removed, but like. Pete's dad is from the Chicago area.
Like putting all rivalry stuff aside, like there's fun stuff to do in Wisconsin. There's fun stuff to do in Chicago. It's fun to shit on each other. But the one thing that I find weird is the New Glarus elitism. The rhubarb beers, that should be their trademark.
There's so many like special one-offs.
Like I get like
the rhubarb,
and the Green Bay thing. Like obviously they've dominated the Bears for a long time in any rational football.
And again, on my side, the state was completely different because it was us versus the Vikings.
And that's the thing. Like the Brewers, no one cares. It's the Cardinals that the Cubs fans like. But it's the Bears Packers rivalry, and it's the Illinois Wisconsin thing.
Yeah.
But other than those two things, it's all good. I love Wisconsin.
It's all right.
It's all good. As Cobra used to love us saying.
It's all good. But so anyways. Gifted this beer from Chuggalo Craig.
Awesome. And it's the Craig I know, right?
Yeah, it's the Craig you know. I don't keep too many Craigos.
Did he stick with the Raiders in their move?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. While you take that sip, I'm going to walk. Good ass beer. Love the name. So I've recently had the opportunity to do an experiment where craft beer was offered to somebody who was vehemently against it. And it was the Montucky. We talked about this a few episodes ago.
Was this when you were trying to, I don't know if we can say this on the podcast, when you brought a beer to a first grader class and were trying to apply it on to children?
Yeah. I was trying to get the first graders into craft beer to expand the market.
Because they're on YouTube. They have opinions.
We were in Louisville, I believe.
Yep.
And it was either Louisville or Nashville. I can't remember which one. I think it was Louisville. And I went. There was a guy who like exclusively drinks Coors Light. That's all he cares about. Doesn't care about anything else. And they didn't have it. Yeah. And then
a dilemma.
The other beer that they had, and this guy was a big time. You know, how do I even put it? I guess
thespian,
conservative, and he would not drink Bud Light. Like, and that's the only other thing they had on tap. And so he saw Montucky and was like, I'm going to try this, and loved it. And I was actually really surprised. That is the beer and that flavor, that's what you might want to write light beer on. That's what you want to get the non-craft beer drinkers drinking in a craft beer environment, which this was. This says light beer on it, and this is probably not going to fly with most light beer drinkers.
Yeah.
Is it light? Sure, it's a 5%.
4.2.
4.2%, even less. It's a light beer. It's got 6 carbs, which is a little bit more than...
Double.
Yeah, than double what like a Miller Lite has?
Yeah, 2.8, 2.9. Okay. Right in there. 3.2.
So it's a little heavier. And that's... But 100 calories is going to be where your light comes in. I just don't think the flavor is what you'd expect from a light beer. With a light beer, you want like a watered down Pilsner. This... Well, you know what? I kind of skipped right over the can art. This is the can art boner segment brought to you by Craigo. I didn't skip over the whole thing. I did show the can. This is a great can art. So let me start on a high note here. The can's excellent. It's got a bright color, white gray color, and good ass beer. I mean, how could you pass that up? You see that in the store, and you're like, I'm buying that beer. It's good ass beer. And the logo or the mascot here is an ass with a bottle cap halo, which I think is clever. Have a good ass time. Yeah, so it's all good. Love the can art. That's the can art boner segment brought to you by Craigo. The beer itself, it tastes like it was filtered through a wicker basket.
I love. Again, when you go from like a craft beer to like a lager or like a ho-hum beer, it tastes like it's filtered through rocks or a piece of wood or something weird. Yeah, something just like ho-hum.
Like,
it does though. Like,
you know, not everything in Illinois is Chicago. There's farm there, and I'm guessing you have a lot of the same experience. Not everything in Wisconsin is Eau Claire.
There is farm there.
Not everything in Wisconsin is Eau Claire. There's rural areas, let me put it that way. So we've all you grab like a grain of whatever and wheat, or even maybe you're in a farm.
This is the farm report with JT.
And somebody's like,
grab a grain.
You're in like a summer camp or something, and people are like have like grass in their mouth or some stupid shit. But you grab something that's like
typically we do straw,
hay or straw or something. And you're like, this is. I immediately regret this decision. This tastes terrible, and I don't know why I have this stupid fucking thing sticking out of my mouth. And that is what I imagine a basket would taste like. I've never tried a basket, but it's made of the same material. My new puppy has chewed on a basket to the point of it being non-usable anymore.
Typically, not to shit on your point, but typically baskets, like decorative baskets, are made out of wicker.
Yeah, wicker. I'm not sure what this basket was made out of. Probably corn husks. Because it was thick.
Corn husks are thin.
I mean, like thick width.
Girth.
Yeah, girthy.
Yeah. A corn stalk is the thickest part of corn. Or the cob.
The cob's girthy. Ribbed girth.
This concludes the farm report by JT.
So if you replace your coffee filters with baskets, wicker baskets, or some sort of
impress your friends.
Farm material, farm organic material, and you filter your beer through that. That's what this tastes like. And I don't think you're gonna buy. you're not going to get buy-in from the people who would normally drink light beer. So I don't really think this beer tastes. Let me find the right word. This beer doesn't taste good.
Wow.
I don't have a better word. I don't think this beer tastes. What is the word I'm looking for? It's like it doesn't matter. Yeah, I think this is not a very good light beer. I do appreciate that it is 100 calories. The 6 carbs though.
It is 100 calories.
Shit, man, 105. At least that's what they say the average analysis was. So give or take.
Where the fuck does it? Oh, there we go.
So carbs 6.6. That's a lot.
Yeah.
For this many calories. So anyway, yeah, this beer is a drinkable 2.5. I'll finish it, but I'm not gonna like it.
I mean, it's only a 12-ounce can. I can't remember the last time we only.
I'm almost done with it.
2 12s.
I just still don't think the flavor's great.
Off the top rope, I give this beer a 3. JT was hitting on a lot of points and circling the drain on where I'm at. For this to be called a light beer is deceiving.
Mm-hmm.
This is like the girl that goes to the club and is a little bigger, but is wearing like a girdle or Spanx or whatever, and she's got it all tied in.
Our Spanx a lie.
This is a full flavored beer. There's no watered down or whatever. There's a lot. This is a big.
It is a full flavored beer. That's a good way to put it.
This is a big body gal in a can, and to compare it to other beers or light beers, it's light in name only. It's not light in taste. You're not giving up anything. So like when you go from a Miller to a Miller Lite, there's a definite chasm that occurs. I'm not sure if they do a good ass undiet beer. It would be interesting to have that to take that chasm. And with it being a lager, it's, you can't hide a bunch of adjuncts like you do with an IPA or a stout or anything like that. Sorry, Stacy. So I applaud them on, if it is a light beer, shoving all of that flavor into this Spanx of a can. That being said, it's not terribly good. You got to have it all. It's an okay ass beer.
It's an okay ass beer.
It's an okay ass beer. See, when you say that though, like when you say ass beer, you have to put that qualifier in it, and you're like, but like okay. See, like if you do a power ranking of ass beer, so good ass beer, all right. Bad ass beer, better than good.
Oh yeah, true.
So
yeah,
it goes bad.
It's actually a parabola.
Yeah, it goes bad is better than good, but good is better than okay. Like if you're like, it's an okay ass beer.
Yeah.
Because like then you're eliciting like, oh, it's an ass beer, like like you'd throw this in a Mystery Cooler of death.
Yeah, ass beer. Just taking the qualifier off totally, it might be the lowest form.
Yep. Then ass beer. So bad ass, good ass, okay ass beer.
Ass. Yeah.
No qualifier. But bad ass, like if you call it a bad ass beer.
If you call it a bad beer.
Maybe that's what the full flavored one is. And if it's not, fine people at Rhindelander Brewing Company, you should do a badass version where it's not light.
Yeah.
I will take. I'll speak on behalf of my business partner. We will take 2 cents for every can sold.
We will take 2 cents for every can.
But yeah, it's you get, like I said, you got to have them all. The gift is maybe where I'm a little more generous on the because it was bequeathed, it was brought across state lines. It had to go through JT's lovely state of Illinois.
As far as gifts go, it's a 5.0.
Yeah,
all gifts are 5
because. Plus, it's got a fun story behind it. And the last gift beer we had was skunked. So this beer wasn't skunked.
That's true.
Because he will actually listen to that part. And you know who we're talking about.
Yeah, he's still listening at this point in the episode. Yeah.
3.0.
I agree with all of your points, except the score.
Spanx.
Spanx, our Spanx a lie.
Our Spanx a lie. It's like his makeup a lie.
Yeah.
You wake up next to, the Chewbacca in the morning.
There's nothing. I mean, I don't want to, offend anybody who disagrees, but having natural beauty is exceptional.
Having natural beauty is you're good.
If you can,
yeah, it's badass.
You can, what do just pretty up a already beautiful person with makeup, fine. Wow. Makeup has its purpose, but if you're using it to deceive people, like, have you ever seen that video of the woman who has, like, she's maybe in her, like, mid-40s, and she, like, tapes her face back?
This just proves that you're
totally different.
You're for women's suffrage, and that's good.
I'm not for women's. I can be ugly. I'm ugly too.
You're against women's suffrage?
I am. I'm not for women's suffrage.
You would end women's suffrage.
I don't know. With that term, what am I? I'm pro women.
So you don't want to end women's suffrage.
Equal rights.
You don't want to end women's suffrage.
What do I want to end? You tell me. I don't know. Women's suffrage sounds bad. Yeah. Let's talk about terminology.
Yeah.
Suffering is not good.
Women's suffrage was their right to vote. So if you end women's suffrage, it would be ending their right to vote. That's what I was trying to get you.
Actually, I think women should vote. I think there are a lot of people. Women should vote. Listen, there are a lot of people that shouldn't vote. There are a lot of people that shouldn't vote. I think we should raise the voting age to
Are you for 29. Women should vote as the episode title? JT hot take: women should vote.
That's a good episode title. It's just, I would have known that pre 3 beers. I would have known which way I stood on women's suffrage.
You were right though to know that I was cornering you.
Just put the ball in your court. Where do I stand?
Yeah,
you tell me. Anyway, I think there's deception, purposefully. Like, have you seen that video of the woman who tapes her face back?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's deception. Are Spanx deception? I guess if you're using them, sure.
Clothes are deception.
Mm-hmm. We should all be naked.
We should all be naked. Nudist colony.
I agree.
Naked Thursdays.
Yeah.
Do you have any other more hot civil rights takes?
I have not civil rights per se.
Another take?
I have so many takes.
Final takes?
I just can't find a place to situate my stance on the Michael Orr situation. I think
interesting.
My biggest
why now?
Why now? My biggest takeaway is I still to this day have no fucking idea how The Blind Side won an Oscar. Like, to me, that movie was just like a basic movie, a story about something. There had to be better movies that year. Fuck if I know.
So
Best Actress? I don't know.
It didn't win for Best Picture, is what you're saying.
I don't think so. Probably Sandra Bullock's performance, but I mean, come on. There had to be better performances by an actress that year.
I mean, she's a great actress, so.
She's a great actress, but it's a movie about a family who starts a conservatorship with a football player. Like, it's not really. How do you act the fuck out of that part? You're just a person.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
With no exceptional abilities or whatever. I don't know. It seems like a weird.
So, like,
Oscar.
you'd like to see.
Maybe that was one of those,
someone like Vin
Revenant.
Diesel, who has exceptional abilities.
Maybe Sandra Bullock's Blindside Oscar was like a Revenant for Leo. Like, it's just her turn. Like, Revenant was not Leo's best movie. Great movie and a true story, which I heard is actually worse than the movie portrays. Which is crazy because usually the movies make it way more amplified. But, I mean, Leonardo DiCaprio was great in so many other things. The Revenant was good, but not great. Sandra Bullock in The Blind Side? I don't know. Seems like she's probably been in better movies.
Yeah, she did win it for Best Actress.
Yeah. Probably better movies that year for an actress. So that's the real takeaway here is that, one, I don't know, Michael Orr, come on. Like, he was already 18 when they brought him into the house, as far as I know.
Yeah.
So, like, you're an adult. All the decisions that were made after that seems, I don't know, maybe he was taken for a ride. Fuck if I know. I'm not taking a side. I don't really give a shit. But why now is more the thing. Yeah. I don't know whose side to take. And then two, if you're a charitable person, and it sucks to put this at the end of the podcast, but if you're a charitable person, perhaps Hawaii is where you should put your money this week. If there's a Red Cross or something.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
The fire. So to timestamp this episode, there's a bunch of Maui fires and stuff. People still missing as of today. Maybe give.
The stories are incredible. People surviving by just jumping in the ocean for 6 hours and watching.
Yeah, I know. Treading water with children and stuff.
Watching their entire lives burn down.
That's crazy.
Because they got no.
It's crazy.
No warning or no heads up, and they have videos of these people just watching the flames sweep by.
Yeah, it's
incredible.
So, yeah, that's it. That's all I had.
Yeah, give vociferously to causes that you care about.
Yeah, that's it. Causes that you care about, even if it's local. Anyway, that's all I had.
That's a mouthful.
Do you know where you stand on The Blind Side?
I feel like I don't need, or I don't know. There seems like something amiss. Like, why now? Like,
yeah.
I think he played long enough, so he's going to be into the pension and everything like that. Yeah. Like, he wrote some books or whatever. Are we just mingling terms? Conservatorship versus adoption. He didn't get any of the proceeds from the movie. There's some sus things there. I don't know. Would he have gotten the opportunity granted to him if the family didn't prop him up?
That's another thing that I thought about, but I don't know.
It's ugly, and unfortunately, this family did open their not with the pretenses. He just happened to be good at something.
Yeah.
I don't think they looked at him as a cash cow. I think they just looked at him as, and this is I think they looked at him as individual in need, and they just wanted to do their neighborly, Christian right, or do what they felt was right. And unfortunately, I think a lot of it is getting manipulated. And I don't know. It's just ugly on all accounts. There's no winners in this situation.
There's no winners, yeah.
Because people are asking for amounts of money and stuff like that, and it's the rich begetting the rich. So
yeah, and unfortunately, fantasy football drafts all start now, and people will forget about this story.
Yep. And I will not be drafting Michael Orr.
I will. I'm drafting Michael Orr.
Well,
starting quarterback.
Hot tip.
Hot tip. Michael Orr, starting quarterback, and your defense should be Justin Fields.
Justin Fields. Defend you from winning anything.
Probably the Super Bowl, but that's okay.
But that's it. That's 243, JT.
That's 243. Thanks for joining us. See ya. Bye.